A lot of people think they are using AI, but what they are really doing is having conversations with AI. They open ChatGPT. They type one prompt, they get one answer, then they copy the result and move on. That can be useful. Sometimes it saves time. Sometimes it helps you start faster, but it is not the same thing as building an AI workflow. And for creators, marketers, freelancers, SEO professionals, automation builders, and online business owners, that difference is becoming harder to ignore because the people getting more value from AI are always using a secret prompt. They are not always using the newest model, and they are not simply asking better questions. They are building better systems around the tools. ChatGPT is one step, research is another, verification is another, editing is another, automation is another, human judgment is still another. The mistake is treating one chat bot like the entire process. That is where the gap begins. For a while, the main AI question was simple: which model should you use? ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, or something else? But that question is becoming less useful on its own. The better question is, what workflow are you building around the model? Because real work rarely begins and ends with one answer. A YouTube script is not just a prompt. A blog post is not just a prompt. SEO research is not just a prompt. A marketing campaign is not just a prompt. A business decision is not just a prompt. Each of those tasks has stages. You gather information. You compare sources. You look for patterns. You test assumptions. You create a draft. You review it. You improve it. Then you decide what to publish, automate, or act on. ChatGPT can help with many of those steps, but by itself, it is not the full system. In the old way, most of this work was manual. If you were doing research, you searched Google, opened tabs, read articles, took notes, compared information, and built your own conclusions. If you were planning content, you looked at competitors, studied comments, checked search demand, and tried to understand what your audience actually cared about. That process was slow, but it forced you to think. Then AI removed a lot of friction. People discovered they could ask ChatGPT for ideas, outlines, scripts, summaries, emails, sales pages, SEO plans, and automation concepts. That was valuable. It made work easier to start. It made blank pages less intimidating. It helped people move faster, but it also created a new problem. Many people stopped using AI to support the thinking process and started using it to replace the entire process. That is why so much AI content feels generic. That is why some AI-assisted strategies sound polished but shallow. That is why AI research can look confident at first, then fall apart when the details are checked. The issue is not that ChatGPT is useless. The issue is that ChatGPT is often being used alone. What is different now is that AI work is becoming more modular. One tool may help gather current information. Another may help summarize. Another may help with long-form reasoning. Another may organize documents. Another may connect tasks through automation. Another may help repurpose content. The workflow becomes the asset. This is where the real shift happens. Instead of asking ChatGPT to do everything, you give each stage a job, define the goal, gather inputs, analyze, draft, verify, edit, publish or automate. Then review what happened and improve the process. That may sound more complicated than typing one prompt, but in practice, it can create stronger output because the system is cleaner. A ChatGPT-only workflow depends heavily on the first prompt. If the prompt is weak, the output is usually weak. If the context is missing, the answer may be incomplete. If the information is outdated, the result may be misleading. A stronger workflow improves the inputs before asking for the output. That is the key difference. Take SEO research. The weak version is asking ChatGPT, "Give me keyword ideas for this topic." You may get a useful list, Some ideas may be worth exploring, but many of them may also be generic. A better workflow starts with real search behavior, competitor pages, audience questions, existing content gaps, and current market signals. Then AI helps organize the material, find patterns, and turn the research into a content plan. The benefit is not that AI magically knows the perfect keyword. The benefit is that AI helps process the research faster. But a human still has to check whether the topic makes sense, whether the audience actually cares, whether the competition is realistic, and whether the content has a clear angle. The same applies to YouTube research. A weak workflow is asking ChatGPT for video ideas. A stronger workflow studies comments, competitor channels, audience pain points, industry changes, and questions people are already asking. Then AI helps cluster those ideas, identify stronger angles, and shape them into a structured script. The realistic benefit is speed and organization, but the creator still has to decide whether the idea fits the channel, whether the hook is strong, and whether the script sounds human. Script writing shows the same pattern. If you ask ChatGPT to write a full script from one prompt, the result may look polished, but it may repeat ideas. It may sound too smooth, it may lack tension. It may not have enough specific insight. A workflow approach separates the job into stages. Research first, then outline, then draft, then rewrite, then fact-check, then final voice-over polish. ChatGPT can help in several of those stages, but it should not be trusted as the only stage. This matters even more for freelancers and online business owners. If you are building client work, marketing systems, email campaigns, content calendars, research reports, or automation workflows, your process becomes part of your value. Clients are not paying only for AI output, they are paying for judgment, structure, strategy, and reliability. That is where human expertise still matters. AI can speed up the work, but it does not automatically understand a client's brand, business model, risk tolerance, positioning, or audience without strong context and review. This is why simple tool comparisons can be misleading. ChatGPT is strong for flexible conversation, drafting, synthesis, and problem solving. Claude may be useful in workflows that involve longer documents or careful reasoning. Gemini may be useful depending on the task and ecosystem. Perplexity may be useful when search and source discovery matter, but none of these tools should be treated as a complete workflow by itself. The real question is not which tool wins. The real question is what role each tool plays. Manual work still matters because humans understand context, judgment, taste, ethics, and consequences. Google search still matters because search behavior, source discovery, and external validation matter. AI search tools can speed up discovery, but their outputs still need checking. Chatbots can help draft and analyze, but they need strong inputs and human review. So, the balanced view is simple. AI can make many workflows faster. It can reduce repetitive work. It can organize information. It can generate first drafts. It can compare ideas. It can help build systems. But it does not remove the need for thinking. And before you build your workflow around AI, there is one major limitation. Bad workflows scale bad decisions. If you automate a weak process, you do not get a stronger business. You get mistakes faster. AI can hallucinate. It can sound confident when it is wrong. It can miss important context. It can rely on outdated information. It can create generic content. It can produce weak citations. It can misunderstand what the audience actually needs. And when people use AI without checking it, those problems often stay hidden until the output reaches the real world. There are privacy concerns as well. Not every piece of business information should be pasted into every tool. If you work with client data, internal documents, strategy, financial information, or sensitive operations, you need to understand what you are sharing and where it may go. Another risk is overdependence. Some people start using AI for every decision, every sentence, every idea, and every judgment. Over time, their own thinking can get weaker. Their content can become less original. Their strategy can become reactive. Their voice can start to sound like everyone else using the same tools. That is not leverage, that is dependence. The goal is not to let AI replace your judgment. The goal is to use AI to protect your judgment from low-value work. That is the real lesson. Stop using ChatGPT by itself does not mean stop using ChatGPT. It means stop treating ChatGPT as the whole machine. Use it as part of a workflow. Give it better inputs. Put it in the right stage. Check its outputs. Compare it with other sources. Add human review. Build repeatable processes. Keep improving the system, because the next advantage in AI may not come from simply knowing how to prompt. It may come from knowing how to orchestrate. The creator who builds a better research workflow has an advantage over the creator who only asks for ideas. The marketer who builds a better testing workflow has an advantage over the marketer who only asks for copy. The freelancer who builds a better client delivery workflow has an advantage over the freelancer who only sells AI-generated drafts. The business owner who builds better systems can get more value than the person who starts from a blank chat window every morning. So the practical action is simple. Take one task you currently do with ChatGPT alone. Do not make it more complicated. Just split it into stages: research, analysis, draft, verification, review, final output. Then decide where ChatGPT helps, where another tool may help, and where human judgment must stay in control. That one change can turn AI from a conversation partner into a real workflow, and that is the shift that matters.